Hello lovelies, welcome to the channel. So yes, I have another art journaling video for you today. I just feel like my scrappy mojo has gone walkabout while my art journaling mojo and my arty mojo is just running ahead in leaps and bounds. But I am going to do some scrapbooking this weekend and some Project Life. So my next few videos, I promise, will not be so mixed media-y. No, I can't say that. They won't be so art journaly. How's that for a deal? So today's layout was for the Art and Soul challenge. They have a challenge on their Facebook page, and it was a mood board challenge, and I really felt like playing with my gel plate. I've really been playing with my gel plate a lot these last few weeks, and I wanted to play with my Distress Oxides a bit more. I had these out, and yeah, I just wanted to try something a little different. So I haven't used my Distress Oxides with my gel plate yet, so this was a new experience for me and I really wanted to give it a go. So I picked out my colours from my Distress Oxide range based on the mood board, as close as I could get to the mood board as I could with my Distress Oxides. And then I just went to town. It took me a bit to get in the groove of finding a colour background that I liked. I think this was my third. And yeah, I don't mind this base. So this is a good place to start. Now, I am a firm believer that all art journal pages start out as a hot mess before you start to like them. This is no different. It was my third go and I still wasn't happy with it until I start adding some texture and my final, finishing touches. That's when I probably really fall in love with this page. I think it's this color palette is just not me at all. We know I love my blues and my greens together, my reds and my pinks and my yellows together. So this was way out of my comfort zone. But in the end, it was a lot of fun to do, and a lot of fun mixing some colours to get what I really wanted. So this is something new I hadn't done before either. Now, part of the mood board was to add texture, so I thought I'd add some texture paste. In the end, I decided to add cotton and staples as well, because, this wasn't enough to make me happy. But I put some of the Salty Ocean Oxide onto my stamp block. I've been using stamp blocks as paint palettes lately because I don't have my craft sheet down anymore. I'm using deli paper as a background, and I don't have anywhere to throw my paint, so I'm using stamping blocks a lot, but it's working great for me. And I mixed some of that Salty Ocean with some of my modelling paste, and I got a really nice bright tinted modelling paste, so that was pretty cool. And now, just to try and tone that down a bit, I was bringing in some white through a spotty stencil. It doesn't stand out very much because it is white, but I didn't want to bring in a big contrasting colour like black. So I stick with white and grey. Even when I get to my stamped image, I don't use black. I use a grey Pitt pen, a big brush marker, to do my stamped image with, because I really didn't want a bright, a bold black contrast. I'm using some of that grey to do some splatters. It's not very noticeable, but I just wanted to add a bit more grunge and texture to the layout. And then I'm going to work on adding more to this background by using some stamped images. Now, I've got some great texture stamps that I love from the Dina Wakley range, and I'm using some of my Distress Oxide ink pads to stamp that down. So I've got Cracked Pistachio and Salty Ocean, and they're a lot brighter than the Antique Linen and the Ice Spruce in the background, so it's adding some contrast to this page. I really wanted to mix these ink pads together, so I didn't just want blue and just want green. A few times I don't clean off my stamp between using the two ink pads, so I can get a variation of the colours, and I do that a lot with this stamp here. One of the colours on the mood board was what to me looked like a greyy green, and my Ice Spruce wasn't cutting it and my Pistachio wasn't cutting it, so I mixed them together and I'm really happy with how that turns out. I do contaminate my ink pads a bit, but they're very easy to clean off and it doesn't bother me. So I get a really nice greyy green by mixing these two these ink pads together before I put my stamp down. So I really enjoyed doing that, and I really like branching out and trying new things when I play with some media and just want something new. So a lot of new techniques today in this layout, and definitely a new color palette. So I've gone into my stamps and found a nice stamp set for my focal image. I stamped two different ones because I wasn't sure which one I wanted, but this is what I mean by using those big brush markers to ink up my stamp. They make it's a really great way of inking up your stamp if you don't have a color in a certain an ink pad that you like. I've lost my grey ink pad, it's vanished, but I do have a grey big brush marker, so it works well for me, and they do a really good job inking up stamps. So I've just inked up my stamp with my pen. Literally, I just scribble it on, and before it dries on the stamp, I stamp it onto my cardstock. Now, I wanted to add some texture. So I got some of my cotton thread out, and I'm throwing that down on the page, trying not to touch it as much as possible, because every time I try and do this, it turns out horrible. I actually really like the way it turned out today. So I am using my stamped image to basically stick down my thread. So I've stuck that down on top of my thread to hold it in place, and then I'm just adding a few staples in a few random places just to hold it down a little extra. And plus, it's adding another element to my page, another texture, another embellishment type thing, you know, just another little element to my page. And so I like that so much that I then go and staple on my stamped image as well, just to add a little more. I've written the quote out on some cardstock, the quote from the mood board, and then I'm just gluing that down, and then that's going to be it for my layout. I really enjoyed making this page. I had a lot of fun, and yeah, it's great to step out of your comfort zone every now and then. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon. Bye.